Well, Jack, when you want to come into a cup game off the back of a good win, Grimsby was quite almost a blueprint, if you like, for what you might want to produce on Saturday.
Yeah, Grimsby was a great result, obviously. It was on TV as well, so we wanted to show our fans what we could do. Not just our fans, the rest of the country. And first half, it wasn't fantastic, but second half, we showed what we could do and managed to get the result. Going on to this week's game, it's obviously we've got a lot of confidence going into the game, and it's a very winnable game to get into the second round.
Gary said after the game that he had sort of changed the mindset a bit at half-time, but you were certainly further forward than we've seen you in certain games this season. Is that a formation that you've talked about again this week, and ultimately, a decision has to be made about whether you go back to playing the orthodox three at the back or whether we just tweak it?
We've spoke about this, but it wasn't really the formation, it was just our mindsets. It was more getting on the front foot, being more attacking rather than sitting back and being defensive. And I think when we come out second half, you could see maybe people thought it was the formation, but it actually wasn't. It was a change in mindset where to get on the front foot rather than be on the back foot.
Because George was not getting as forward as much on his side as you were on the right, in particular.
Yeah, well, I was allowed to push on a bit more. George was told to maybe sit a little bit more, so it went to a little bit of a 4-4-2, but I was allowed to push on a bit more.
The natural inclination for you is to get forward, isn't it? I appreciate you have defensive duties, but there's a good part of your mindset which is to get forward and help. Yeah,
well, first and foremost, I'm a defender, so I've got to do my defensive duties, but as you've said, I do like to get forward. I like to be involved at both ends of the pitch. Was there an element of,
if you like, having had this settled formation, that if you're taken out of that comfort zone, do players mind that?
No, because you're always pushing yourself to be better. If you don't do it, you won't get better, and you won't play at higher levels.
Fair enough. Good answer.
If you don't.
I was looking at your FA Cup record prior to having your only game was on the bench against Cheltenham for Swindon last year. That must have been an interesting experience.
Yeah, my 2 years at Swindon, we got knocked out both times in the first round. I think it was Macclesfield away 4-0, and last year Cheltenham 5-0 was it? Yeah. So not great experiences, but obviously now I'm at Cheltenham, I want to have a good cup run and see as far as we can get.
What did you make of Cheltenham that day? Because that was a run, that was a result that was completely out of the league form. And
you wasn't doing that great, was you?
No.
I think when the boys turned up, they thought we were just going to walk over you, but anything can happen on an FA Cup day. And I think we had a man sent off pretty early as well, so made it a little bit easier for you. But I said I'm at Cheltenham now, so I'd like to have a good FA Cup run.
But that shows what the FA Cup is about, that it is about on the day, and what happens between league standards and whatever, that doesn't really matter in the slightest.
No, it doesn't. It's one game. I think, look back the last few years, you see Havant and Waterloo, they went to, I think, third, fourth round, something like that. See Blythe Spartans last year, they went quite far. So it's on the day, it doesn't matter who you're playing against.
Yeah, Blythe beat Hartlepool out of Hartlepool as well.
Exactly. So hoping for the same result for us on Saturday.
I've just said, Danny, almost a pressure-free environment this week with no sort of massive desire for league points. You can almost just go out and not enjoy the game, but really attack it with a bit of vigour. Yeah,
there's obviously no points on it, but it's getting into the second round, isn't it? So it still is quite a big thing, but we're obviously probably the underdogs, so that takes the pressure off of us and puts it on them. Yeah,
I asked you before about you when that first goal was coming. Did you think you had it about 10 minutes into the second half at Grimsby?
Yeah, I thought it's going to come in here. It's got to come. I thought I had it, but I think the keeper's made a good save. But next time I'll score, I promise.
Yeah, you're getting into those positions though quite regularly, which is, I mean, not where you expect probably a right back or a right wing back to be at the far post, sort of one-on-one with the keeper.
Yeah, I seem to be getting into some quite good positions this year, don't I? But I suppose I need to put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, extra work on the finishing, is it in training? Or
yeah, I have been working on it, yeah.
And Jack and Billy telling you about how to do it at home, I imagine.
Well, they try to, but I think they get a bit lucky themselves. No, I'm joking. They're good finishers. I suppose I should have a look at them and see what they're doing.
Yeah, see what they eat for breakfast and all that. see if that's the secret.
Maybe I'm going to have to.
Okay, cheers, Jack.